On today's show, we visit 3A Cafe and Bakery and Gellar Snack Bar, talk to nursing student Amelia Christensen, pop up in our community, hear from OCES, and talk about upcoming things to do in our area. We're glad you're here. Let's get started. Whether you're craving an extraordinary breakfast or a delicious and unique lunch, 3A Cafe and Bakery in North Plymouth has something to please your palate. We went on the local scene to 295 Court Street.
We came from Brazil. We started working at 3A, and we're still there.
We've been on restaurant at 3A Cafe since 2009.
The cafe is everything for us. It's a passion, because we work for the first owner, and I started as washing dishes, and then we saved the money, working 2 jobs, and then we bought the business in 2009. The family, and then my kids born, and then go there every day, and all the customers, all that. That's everything for us.
I love Plymouth. We had a friend that lived here, so that's why we came here first, and then we never left. And since we moved in from Brazil, we live 23 years already. Cafe, it's a breakfast place and lunch. For lunchtime, we serve French fries, burgers. We add some Greek food, which is delicious.
I don't want to eat the same food all the time. I want to change. Everybody almost the same that way. You can eat like grilled cheese every day, but you want something different sometimes.
The breakfast, we have like a huge options, all good, all delicious. My favorite one is the kitchen sink omelet. It comes with everything: onions and peppers, mushrooms, ham, spinach, cheese, sausage. It's delicious. It's a huge thing.
The kitchen sink is huge because everything is there. And also I like to add the pineapple in the kitchen sink.
For lunch, the Zorba's favorite, it's delicious.
Because we make the Greek dressing there. It's a homemade. We make it like twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week. People buy extra, buy like a small, package, cups or bowl to take it home.
And breakfast, we have this special called 2-to-1. 2 eggs, 2 bacon, 1 pancake.
The corned beef hash is a homemade corned beef. The hollandaise sauce is amazing. Everybody loves the hollandaise sauce, and people always order extra on the side. I think the pancake is huge. People love the pancake. The powder we still buying the same brand as since that I started work there. And I think that's, like I could buy something cheaper. That's a lot of people look that way, but we don't care. We care like for the quality, that the people like it.
It's like old school diner, grandma. It's cozy. My favorite thing is to see my customers happy, because I think for me, making a plate and see them eat and be like happy and satisfied with what I do, because everything I do there, I do with love.
My favorite thing is to make something for the customer, and then I can see the smile. They like it. They can, they can take a half home because it's so good, and that's what I like. For the customers, we still open because they support us. For like a pandemic. For the cover was huge. We almost closed, and then we work hard, and then I remember that first day they shut down, and we opened just on a window. First day was like all day, maybe $40. And then people started, help, come in and call, and then we're still there because that's the customer. That's so important for us. Without them, there's no restaurant. There's nothing there. I like Plymouth because, the waterfront is a beautiful, beautiful view. That's the town I came and then first lived here, and then I'm still here. And we, create that relation, and we love here. I live here like half my age now in here, and half in Brazil. And then that's we love, that, is in my heart.
Plymouth is everything. We love everything we need is here.
You just have to be, work hard, be honest, because we came from Brazil with $2,000 in the pocket, and then we worked 2 jobs for a long time, like 80 hours, 90 hours a week, saved the money. There's always a chance. I think, that's why we love U.S. The opportunity here is so big, and I think anyone can do it. You just have to be, work hard for that.
October has its witches and ghouls to make it spooky, and the Kingston Public Library to make it slimy. On Monday, October 28th, the teen room of the library will be a den of delicious squish from 4 to 4:45 p.m. as teens and tweens aged 10 years old and up are invited to make a delicious snack that is both fun to eat and to play with. Ooey, gooey, and edible slime. To sign up for this goopy craft and candy session, visit the Kingston Public Library website. For ingredient questions, please email Kat at cdwyer@kingstonma.gov. Ghost stories of Massachusetts will be floating through the halls of the Pembroke Public Library. On Wednesday, October 30th, join paranormal researcher Tim Weisberg for Ghosts of the Bridgewater Triangle, a spirited virtual trip through this infamously haunted 200 square miles of southeastern Massachusetts. You'll recognize Tim as the host of Spooky South Coast, one of the longest-running paranormal radio programs. Who better to explain the history of strange phenomena and hauntings documented in this area for centuries? Weisberg will also discuss elements of folklore and legend circulating around the Bridgewater Triangle versus real and unexplained occurrences. The petrifying presentation starts at 6 p.m. and spine tingles until 7:45. Ghosts of Bridgewater Triangle is free and open to all. Gellar Snack Bar at 506 State Road has been a Manumet community favorite for 98 years. We went on the local scene for snack time.
Growing up, my parents, my aunts, they were always working. So if you wanted to spend time with the family, I was fortunate that my grandmother was still alive at the time. I lost my grandfather before I was born, and my grandmother ran it until she had heart trouble in the mid-70s. I want to say like 73 through 75, and then my aunt, which was also named Susan, my father's sister, she took over. And she ran it currently up until 2 years ago, and then she had an unfortunate situation with health also. So as a family member, we had to find some people that wanted to take it over. So I've been working in the family business this entire time. My daughter had made some moves through her lifetime too, where she was teaching and she was changing jobs, and I wanted to make sure that she would be on board, because without all of us, I knew that we could not carry this on, certainly into the future. There was just too much to do. Business has evolved, expectations are higher. There's just many, many issues that come up daily, and one person today wouldn't be doing that like they were in the 50s.
Worked at Mirbeau. I went to school at Johnson & Wales for baking and pastry. I teach baking and pastry and culinary arts. So it's always been in the same line of work. That's why it hasn't completely been out of the question, and it does line up, right? Summers are the busy months. That's when there isn't school. So it's always been kind of in the back of my head. And yeah, we were kind of in a family crisis, to be honest, when my aunt had her health emergency, and after 96 years of being open, we all came together and decided that it was more important that this business carry on, and that's how it is.
It's been an interesting transition, over the years, and I'm the 4th generation. My daughter will be the 5th generation, and currently there are 2 members of the 3rd generation, 2 members of the 4th generation, and 3 members of the 5th generation that are currently working here.
There's so many of us, and we all have unique individual opinions, and we all are stubborn. I'll be honest, we're stubborn. We like things a certain way, and I am certainly stubborn. So there were certain things that I knew needed to be in place. There were certain things that my dad needed to have in place, and it's important to surround yourself with other opinions. We all brought something different to the table, which has made it so incredible, and we've all truly just worked together as a team the best we can. But I have the food service industry under my belt. My dad is, aside from just being a local businessman for his entire life since being born, him coming in with that perspective and that mindset. And then my mom, she's so good with knowing laws, regulations, the labor laws, how to do all of the tax paperwork, payroll, the business end of things. She brings all of the bookkeeping knowledge and all of that, and we've all tried to kind of come together and work with each other.
It's a different approach in here. It's a quick business. People expect it to be like fast food, but you're trying to present something a little bit different than just fast food. A lot of time and effort's gone into the food process, and my daughter being a pastry chef and her culinary experience, and she makes a lot of the products here on site, and we try to integrate the local farms, and we're doing everything that we can to try to keep things within the community.
One of the other places I worked at was Rye Tavern, and I loved their model of the garden to plate or farm to table, and kneading an edible flower and then just being able to walk outside and cut it. That was so fun. So I think trying to bring some of those ideas here in any way that we can, and there's obviously still so many ways that we will improve as time goes on, but being able to go a couple times a week to Perry's and pick up the burgers.
When I was a kid, I got to go there with my grandmother, and we would get the hamburger and actually press it ourselves here. And even they've evolved over time. They do the hand pressing right there on site, so we can now text in an order and go down and see them, and it's always a wonderful experience, and the hamburger comes locally right from there right to here, and that's been excitement too throughout the community.
I make all of the syrups for the fraps. Our caramel sauce is made here. We don't do red dye maraschino cherries here. I buy cherries and I cook them in syrup until they're sweet. And the peanut butter sauces, our pickles, anything that we can kind of make here to not only set us apart from other businesses of this style, but also to kind of provide that experience for our customer. That's what really matters. I want them to get a caramel sundae and feel like it's the best caramel sundae they've ever had. That feels so good, and I think that stuff matters, right? It's not made with corn syrup, and it's made with sugar that's been cooked and heavy cream's been added. So it's just exciting to be able to bring that to the table and make those changes here to kind of modernize in ways that we can. I mean, I know at least Plymouth especially, I feel like I've noticed that there has been that change, and the community does care about those things and wants quality product and wants those things.
Working with the local farm is huge. As you know, Massachusetts started an ice cream trail this year for the first time, and to be on that, it's an honor to be part of that. And if it wasn't part of being part of Richardson's Ice Cream and being a local farm and farm to table and all that, that wouldn't have been an option for us. So that was exciting, and I think that was big news. The locals took that very well, and then we see a lot of different people that we never had here before, and I love that. It's nice to see other people coming in from different areas of town or maybe from out of town and trying us for once and forming their own opinion.
I think community is probably the most important part of the business model. If your community isn't backing you and isn't by your side, then you don't have a business. We rely on patrons, we rely on the people around us to help keep us going. Anybody can stick an ice cream freezer in a building, but without a community, you don't have a business. We wouldn't be here for the last 98 years if there weren't people coming here and they weren't supporting us.
Evolution in Manaman is always a little bit different than other parts of town. So everything that you do here, you have to really, and it's not like there's a research model or something that you can spend the time doing the research to see if that would work. You almost have to try something here and see how it's perceived throughout the members, you know, and how your clientele take it and what they like about it, what they dislike.
Even when it doesn't get received well, we try to make it right. It's important to us that we are those people that you can come and tell us about your experience, and we'll talk to you and we'll try to make it right.
Going into the future, we're going to have to add on. We're going to have to really change what we do a little bit here if we continue to grow at the rates that we have for the last couple of years. Refrigeration needs grow by the day. If you grow by 5% or 10% throughout a season, it's an extra refrigerator or an extra freezer that you must add. And it's, you know, there's not a lot of room in this old facility. So already I've added some outdoor freezers and refrigeration ideas, and I'm trying always to do things that will get us, you know, to make the next day.
It works, being able to expand and do those things that we'd like to. You know, we added a POS system 2 years ago, which was a big to-do in an old-fashioned business and things of that nature. My dad worked really hard on trying to spruce up the yard a little bit, and kind of all of those things wrapped into one. So we'll try to keep adding to things, modernizing, staying relevant. It's important, and staying in tune with trends and what people are interested in, what other people and things are doing to stay like on trend, on brand. And we like to keep that old charm. That's important to us. It's not just throwing all of that rich history away. That's not what we're aiming to do. We're just trying to pivot and change with the times.
There's a lot going on. There's still other components of the business that I'm actively involved in, and that requires work there too. My wife works full-time, my daughter works full-time, and I also teach in the automotive program at Plymouth South High School. So I don't have a lot of time, and to fit all this in, this needs to be a primary thing. You just can't put it on the back burner and say, I'll do it tomorrow.
It's just really great to be able to see my family every single day. That makes me smile. And of course, our guests and our customers, getting to see them with a smile on their face. I mean, it's, I guess, a little bit of an inside joke for us, but we make some big ice creams, and it is fun to watch them grab them and try to handle it, because it's a lot, and it's fun to see ice cream start dripping. And we always give a cup too, so you can kind of manage it, and just being able to watch people's faces light up when they get an ice cream bigger than their head. It's fun.
That'll be interesting as we approach the 100th. I'm not sure how we're going to pull that off and what needs to be done. You know, I've been talking with family and talking with some close community members that are part of, like I said, you're part of the family when you live close by and you're here all the time. And we're trying to figure out what to do so that we can recognize everybody and certainly show our appreciation to the community itself for, you know, allowing us to operate every day that we have.
American philosopher and gender studies scholar Judith Butler wrote, "There is no gender identity beyond the expressions of gender. Identity is performatively constituted by the very expressions that are said to be its results." So, how do we define what gender means in today's world? If you're interested in learning more on this topic, the Duxbury Council on Aging is hosting the enlightening presentation and conversation, Gender in the 21st Century, an overview, that aims to shed light on how the perception of gender has shifted and changed since the beginning of the century. People from all communities are invited to attend this event on Thursday, October 17th, starting at 5:30 p.m. Visit the center's website at duxburyseniorcenter.org to register. Old Colony Elder Services supports the independence and dignity of older adults and people with disabilities. Here's more.
Do you struggle managing your finances and are over the age of 60? Or have you had a life change and need support with this aspect? OCES Money Management offers a free program that can help you. Learn how to budget and save with our expert guidance. This program can help you create a budget that works for you, help set monthly payment plans, help assess and match you with a trained and vetted volunteer. Plus, get access to resources and tools to support you. Sign up and start building the financial future you deserve. Visit www.ocesma.org or call 508-584-1561 to get started. Empower your finances, empower your life.
Save the date for the annual Boo-Tacular at the Pembroke Public Library and Pembroke Council on Aging. On Thursday, October 24th, little ghouls and goblins are invited to both locations for an all treats and no tricks Halloween event. There will be a variety of fun activities, both candy and non-food treats, and Violet the Clown, who will be painting faces and twisting balloons into spooktacular shapes. It wouldn't be a Boo-Tacular event without jack-o'-lanterns, and they'll be there on display, carved by community members. The fun runs from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m., is free, and open to all youth. Costumes are encouraged, but not required. The foundation of our healthcare industry is our nurses. Tiff sat down with nursing student Amelia Christensen on our Open Here podcast.
Hi, I'm with Amelia Christensen. Welcome to the set. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So let's jump right in. Tell us about your background. Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and I grew up with 4 older siblings. Older sibling being Erica Christensen. She works here.
Yes, she does.
So I've been the baby growing up. I've always been nurtured by my 4 older siblings. So I don't know.
So you had some good inspiration to get into nursing because you knew what it was like to be nurtured, for sure.
Yep.
So how did you get into nursing, and what's that process been like?
So I went to Plymouth North High School, which is a tech school, and they offer a program called Allied Health. So Allied Health is kind of like the preschool to nursing-ish. So you get your CNA. So I did long hours trying to get my clinical hours to become a certified nursing assistant. So that kind of drove me to get the interest of being a nurse because I worked with elders for about a year and a half in high school. And then I've been working for elders for 5 years now.
What made you want to go into this path?
I've always been nurtured my whole life, and I felt like it was kind of my time to give back. So I've always wanted to nurture other people. And I have such a soft spot for caring for others and a compassion for caring for others. So I think working with elders especially, I've really enjoyed caring for them. And deep down, I love them so much. Mm-hmm. So being a CNA, I've definitely have gotten a soft spot for them. And I've been wanting to get back more by being a nurse.
There are many avenues you can take. Is that the direction you think you're going to go in, working with older folks?
I think so. I think adult care or geriatrics or even critical care, because critical care is so rewarding, and that's just something that I think I would love to be in.
In your experience, how do you feel we as a community can better support our nurses?
I feel like raising awareness towards mental health and physical health of a nurse, because the job has long hours and the emotional involvement that nurses have can be very emotional and physically draining for us. So I feel like having more opportunities for counseling specifically for nurses can be very important, and even having more recognizing in the town for nurses and other people, like voting for nurses or something like that, and having like awards for them, or I don't know, just ways to recognize good nurses out there.
Definitely. I mean, I think it was really brought to the forefront during the pandemic, right? We really saw
that. Yep.
Right? And, you know, there are some ways we should probably just keep that going, you know, that support.
Yes, I agree. Yep. Yep.
What are some obstacles that you face, like have you seen already that you faced in this profession?
Definitely the emotional involvement part. So creating a strong bond with a patient is so important because you want to give them your best care, and sometimes creating that trust between you and the patient is the most important part to giving your all for them, but sometimes that can be really hard, especially if they're chronically ill or terminal. It can definitely take a toll in your job, and nurses can grieve too, so it definitely is very tough in that aspect. And I have had like multiple patients, because I work in geriatrics, that have passed away, so it's been very difficult, but it's something that we work on by, you try to bottle up the emotion, but you don't want to bottle up too much. So that's definitely an obstacle I faced.
Yeah, you definitely run that risk of becoming desensitized, which is always hard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't want to desensitize too much.
What about nursing brings you joy?
It's very rewarding. So being a CNA, I feel like I'm almost giving back to the community, because there's so many elders out there that need help, especially an elder that needs a companion, not just like full bed care. So a companion is just someone that sometimes if they feel alone or isolated, they have someone come just hang out with them and bring them joy, or do their errands for them, or clean their house. And sometimes that just brings me joy, just giving back to them, and it's very rewarding. So
you can tell you kind of exude that you just love it.
Yeah.
I love that. So what advice do you have for people who are now just going into the nursing profession? Would you recommend it?
I would, yes. If you're a very compassionate person and you can handle stress well. Sometimes people can't when you're going into it, and you learn, and that's okay to not know how to handle stress right away. But I think being prepared for the long hours and trying to figure out how much capacity you have for compassion and empathy, that's definitely something you have to take into account. And I would recommend internships, working in a hospital as much as you can to try to feel that pressure a little bit, because sometimes it can be a shock just jumping right into it. And I think learning patient care and patient management and working as a team, learning teamwork, because that's so important in a hospital, is definitely important before going into nursing. There's a lot of aspects to think about, but I would still recommend it. I love it. So
good.
Yeah.
And what is something you've learned about yourself during, because it's a lot of schoolwork. I can only imagine. Plus you're doing the internships and putting in all your hours. What have you learned about yourself during this process?
Definitely time management and how I handle stress on my own. So I think stress is like a huge thing that comes into it, because you have homework, you have long clinical hours that you have to do, so you really have to try to manage all of that at once. So I've definitely learned my capacity and how I handle everything. So it's definitely been a process, and I'm still learning. So I don't know. I think I've learned a lot about myself for sure.
And what do you think the future holds for you?
I am hoping the future holds a good job in either geriatrics or as a critical care nurse. Definitely working in a hospital in Boston, and then maybe go back to school someday to be a nurse practitioner. But we'll see.
But you love it.
Yep, and I'm still learning, so it's okay.
We're always still learning.
Yeah, exactly.
Amelia, thank you so much for joining us today. It was such a pleasure to chatting with you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
Do ghosts leave footprints? Find out on Spirit of Plymouth's Haunted History Tour, a walk that leads you through the shadows of Plymouth's history. From 6 to 7 p.m. on Thursday, October 24th, join your spirited guides as they lead you through the streets of Plymouth, seeking supernatural phenomena common to the area, like orbs, phantom sounds, evidence of spirits, or peculiar EMF readings. The tour runs from 6 to 7 p.m. and is offered only during the spooky season, so be sure to reserve your spot, before the tickets vanish into thin air. It's Oktoberfest on Saturday, October 19th from 1 to 6 p.m. at the Plymouth Masonic Lodge. There will be all sorts of fun, family-friendly games and activities, including horseshoes, cornhole, a moonwalk, and live music. Because it isn't an Oktoberfest without a feast, you'll have your choice of delicious roast pig, steak tips, prime rib, chicken, burgers, and hot dogs. This event is open to everyone. Visit the Eventbrite page to get your tickets. Kids are free. The Plymouth Masonic Lodge is at 116 South Meadow Road. The BID House Call series consists of educational presentations to help seniors improve their health with learning and engagement. The Duxbury Council on Aging is hosting 3 sessions in October. On October 16th at 5 p.m., Dr. Aaron Beck will talk about lumbar disc herniations. Breast health will be the topic on October 18th at 9 a.m. with Dr. Robin Sachs. Finally, on October 23rd, Dr. Robert Kabinski will discuss sports medicine and pain management at 5:30 p.m. Please register by calling the center at 781-934-5774 or through the website at duxburyseniorcenter.org. Fire Prevention Month is going out in a blaze of glory. Come down to the Plymouth Public Library on Saturday, October 26th for a spectacularly sizzling event promoting fire safety in a way that will be fun for the whole family. Meet Plymouth firefighters, watch safety demonstrations, and get up close and hands-on different vehicles and equipment used to put out fires. There will be giveaways and more at this free program that runs from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the front lawn of the library. Women become more prone to urinary tract infections as they age. By age 65, 1 in 10 women experience a UTI at least once a year, and by age 85, the number jumps to 1 in 3. Recognizing the symptoms and receiving early treatment is key to avoiding significant complications. On Tuesday, October 15th, the Pembroke Council on Aging is hosting Honoring Women's Health, a 1-hour program on prevention and symptom identification. Speaker Roseanne Potter, RN, BSN, will teach you how to recognize the signs of UTI-induced dementia, how to advocate for yourself at the doctor's office, and the most effective ways to prevent infections. The presentation starts at 10 a.m. and takes place at the Pembroke Community Center. There will be a Q&A session and helpful materials to bring home with you. Next, we have Tiff Phillips back on set. I'm glad you could make it. What do you have for us today?
For the last installment of our Pop-Up on the Waterfront Festival series, we chatted with local nonprofits to get to know their organizations and all the good they're doing to make our community a better place for all. With the one and only Miss Sheila Vaughn. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing really well. Super excited to be here.
It's always such a pleasure to see you. You're always such a great ball of energy.
So are you.
So what's going on at 4Cs right now? You're prepping for the new year, I'm assuming.
Absolutely. School starts September 3rd, so we're super excited. And with the new initiative for free college, we are definitely having a great time. We have the most enrollments we've had in a really long time and super excited.
Man, are you offering a lot of just like amazing programs this year?
Absolutely. So we just started dental assisting, which we're super excited about. Our aviation maintenance program's still there, our funeral service. So really great programs that are coming up, and we're really excited about it.
Wow, I didn't know you were covering funeral services. That's awesome.
Yes, so we took that over from Mount Ida when it actually closed, and so it's an amazing program, and it's run through Bridgewater State. So we love this program, and Dan Shea, who runs it, he's amazing.
4Cs just making moves. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, and it's great to see you as always.
I'm with Teresa from To the Moon and Back. Can you tell me a little bit about your organization?
Yeah, so we were founded in 2017, and we support kids that were born opiate dependent with neonatal abstinence syndrome. We're based in Plymouth, but we serve the entire state of Massachusetts.
Oh, wonderful. What kind of services do you offer?
So we provide a myriad of services based on the needs that our families have expressed to us. So we started with a support group for families, and from there we've kind of branched out. We do take-home boxes from most of the hospitals here in Massachusetts with items that families have identified that they need when they go home. We just started a case management program for kids here in Plymouth that is supported by the town of Plymouth as well as the state of Massachusetts. So we're really excited about that opportunity. And the rest of our services are all listed on our website, which I hope I can give. It's www.tothemoonandback.org.
Well, you're doing amazing work. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
with Dolly and Scott from Project Gurnet and Bug Lights Inc. We did a story on you folks a couple of years ago. It was so fun.
You were great.
Oh, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure. Just the beautiful story of your dad and these beautiful structures. So what's happening right now with both Gurnet Light and Bug Light?
Well, Bug Light we have ownership of, which is awesome. And unfortunately, we have a lot of work that needs to be done. $1.5 million worth of work. And we have different phases that we're gonna do the work in. The vent ball needs to be replaced. It got hit by lightning. The structure itself, go ahead, you talk about that part,
Structure
Scott.
itself, we need to install some mending plates across the seams so that it continues to hold together for another 150 years. And rebuild the roof going around the catwalk and then paint it again.
There's a lot that needs to be done because it's an icon. We can't believe all the different places as we're walking through this waterfront that have our logo, a picture of Bug Light.
Yeah.
Right, it's iconic to this community for
It
sure.
is, it
What
is.
about Gurnet Light? How's that going?
That's doing well too. We have applied for ownership through the National Historic Lighthouse Preservation Act, and we believe we're the only people, but we still have had to jump through all the hoops and do all the things. It's been almost a year, and we hope to find out whether we get ownership or not. And if that happens, then we will be able to have our open house again and take more people out to see it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, it's so great to see you both. Thank you so much. We'll make sure to post your website.
Plan donations can be made. You can send checks made out to Project Gurnet and Bug Lights, and our address is Post Office Box 2167, Duxbury, Mass. 02331. And hopefully we'll be able to soon have credit card donations on there too. Anything you want to say, Scott?
No, you've covered it all. Thank you very much for taking the time with us.
Again,
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, that concludes another amazing year at Waterfront Festival. We want to thank the Chamber for having us here today. Make sure to check out our socials to see where we're popping up next. From all of us at the local scene, we thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Tiff. That was a fun piece. And thank you for watching this episode of What's Good and Good to Know in our area.
And we thank our patrons Tiny & Sons, Quintal Brothers, and Squinny's Pizza for supporting our mission of community in action through media.
We'll see you on the local scene. For more of what's good and good to know on the South Shore of Massachusetts, hit the subscribe button. And thank you for watching.